From the Dogfish Head Brewery, Sam Calagione.
It's been a long, strange, but wonderful trip.
From the Boston Beer Company, Jim Cook. Welcome back to the Friday Beer Buzz, Jim.
Well, it's nice to be back.
They're normally from Aberdeenshire in Scotland. From Brewdog, we have James Watt and Martin Dickey. Welcome to the show, guys.
Biggest mission today is just to make other people as passionate about your state craft beers as we are.
And now, the three-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Excellence in Broadcasting Award, the recipient of 2 Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Awards for Excellence, promoting and advancing the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast PA. This is another edition of
The Friday Beer Buzz! And the Friday Beer Buzz, powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. Sabatini's, the area's greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers, growlers and crowlers, and 37 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. Bill from My Beer Buzz with us. Hi, Bill.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Also, Lindo from Sabatini's with us as well.
Good morning.
Oh, my God. Now I can see you. Let me see you. Okay.
We have all these plexiglass barriers up, and Nancy tapes things to them.
I tape all my show prep on them. Then I can't see people when they come in. Lindo, so nice to have you here. How's business going?
Been going all right.
Customers coming in?
Doing what we have to do. Happy to have people inside and pouring beer, making pizza.
You do have the heated stuff too, right? Even though it's a bit chilly out there right now.
It's a bit cold outside, but if somebody wants to brave it, we turn the heaters on and you go outside.
Good stuff. All right, so we're going to go to Bill here. He's got some beer news, and then we're going to talk beer today, as usual.
I think if we gave out one free vaccine with every 6-pack of beer or every pizza, we would have the entire country vaccinated in like 2 days.
Oh, yes. Imagine that.
Absolutely.
So we have a little beer news. We have some exciting local beer news. It just sort of broke yesterday afternoon. Our pal Bo Baden and Casey DeCia, formerly from Allentown Brew Works and Bethlehem Brew Works, and currently at Susquehanna Brewing Company over in Pittston, have purchased the Minx Candy Factory. And could you take a guess at what they might be doing with that building?
Beer.
Jason is spot on. They're going to open something called the Sherman Street. They're opening something called Sherman Street Beer. It's in Allentown. It's Bo's dream to have his own brewery.
Nice.
I think he has worked in the industry long enough, and I'm excited for them, excited to see what they do, and I have family nearby, so I will go certainly check it out when it is safe to do so.
Nice.
We also have some other non-regional beer news. My first one here is an exciting one for me. It comes from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. I always love it when they put out new beers and new series. They are coming up with something that has to be good. It's called the Special Edition Series, and we're in on the ground floor because I have beer number 1. It's your first peek at it. It is called Baltic Joy Porter, and it will be a strong porter brewed with almond and coconut that comes in at 7.8% ABV. And Baltic porters, I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, Baltic porters are one of my absolute favorites because way back in the day I tasted something from Alaskan Brewing Company called Baltic Porter, ironically enough. And it became one of my favorite beers. So I love a good Baltic porter. Sierra Nevada always makes a good porter and a good stout, so I'm excited for this one.
Yum, yum. I love porters.
Yeah, me too. Stone Brewing is coming out with something called Liquid Poem. And if you guess that...
Liquid Poem.
Poem,
okay.
Poem. On the phone here, it's hard to hear myself even with headphones in, so enunciation becomes sort of a game. Whether I'm over or under enunciating, you guys can...
I also have hearing issues a little bit, so it's not
great.
good.
So we've got real problems.
You can bet on that. You can bet on whether I'm over or under. Liquid Poem, Poem, is a double IPA brewed with Centennial, Chinook, Citra, and Columbus hops, sort of the non-classic C hops, they call them. And it is named for how an IPA can be sort of liquid poetry, and they use that term with their Ruination double IPA. So I think it will probably have a lot in common with Ruination. It certainly does with the ABV department because this is a big boy at 9.4% ABV. That is stronger than their Enjoy by, and their Enjoy By usually comes with a couch and a pillow for me, even after just one.
I was going to say liquid nap, but that sounds disturbing.
Liquid nap.
Yeah. Hopefully the liquid is before the nap and not during the nap.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right.
You never know.
And one last little tidbit. Actually, we have two last little tidbits. Dogfish Head Miami, we've been talking about their Miami residency. It's part of their acquisition by Boston Beer, the former Concrete Beach brewery in Miami, Florida. They're coming out with something called Cuban-style breakfast stout.
Wow.
And I don't know a lot about Cuban food and Cuban culture. There is such a thing as Cuban bread, and this is brewed with Cuban bread, espresso coffee, cane sugar, and oatmeal. And so I did a little, I'm a baking enthusiast. I like making bread. I did look up Cuban bread, and it turns out it is made with white flour, not bread flour, and it is made with lard instead of butter. So it's sort of an enriched dough, but using lard. So look for that in 16-ounce cans coming soon. And the last one, I can never leave these out because I get excited about these as well. Great Divide is coming out with something called Maple Pecan Yeti.
Wow.
And it's another one of their evolving Yeti Imperial Stouts. And this one is brewed with maple syrup and candied pecans. And it will be, there's another enunciation thing. Is it pecans or pecan? This one,
I say pecan.
This one will hit, we'll go with that. This one will hit 9.5% ABV, and if that's not exciting enough, it will be packaged in 19.2-ounce cans, the big boys.
So the Yeti part is the size, and that's what the giant thing is, the percentage of alcohol in the giant can. That's the Yeti. The other part is the flavor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that is correct. They do not taste like Yeti, even though I'm not sure who would know what the Yeti tastes like. They are Imperial Stouts, and the whole series of Imperial Stouts that they've done that have all ended with Yeti, all different flavors. They do a pumpkin Yeti, and they do all different kinds of coffee and breakfast Yetis. So, yeah, very exciting. That's a big beer in a big package, so we'll see how that one works out.
Wow.
And Linda and I we're talking over the break between last week's show, and something that we thought we would mention today, because it has become more of a trend, enough of a trend, too, that Sabs is offering up some blended beers. And go ahead, tell us the combination, Linda.
Well, this is, we're giving you guys a sneak peek of what we're going to do for next week, but we just, as most stories start, good stories. This one time we were drinking beer.
Wow, that's weird.
A friend of mine and I was drinking the Bell's Amber. He was drinking a Sierra Pale, and I asked him what he wanted next, and he said, "We'll just, both."
Right.
So we put both in one glass, but it's not a new thing. I mean, there's with Guinness, there's half and half, some black and tans. So
Right.
I mean, blending beer to find the perfect pour. A lot of people have done that, so we've been practicing with it, and next week we're gonna do that.
Oh, cool.
And it's gonna be a pretty good example of what you could do by blending.
Wow.
Not like there's not enough beers out there already that you can't find one that you want. But
I'm excited. It's my first beer I ever purchased as a 21-year-old adult was a Black and Tan.
Black and Tan.
So so that's I didn't even realize it was a mixture at that time. Go figure.
Yeah, it's been something they've been doing it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to cut it to make it easier or to find a different flavor, so that's what we're going to be doing for next week. But today's beer I am extremely excited about, and Bill, you want to announce it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we should mention just on the tail end of the blended beer thing, Firestone Walker, they come from Paso Robles, California. They are in wine country, and it's not our beer today, but they're in wine country, and so they are very adept at blending. So many of their beers, especially their anniversary ale, are blended beers, and they take great pride in blending different vintages, different barrel types into one beer. And so it's a big deal, and it's very much out of the wine world.
Right.
Our beer today comes to us, it's much more local. It comes from Ardmore, Pennsylvania. It is from Tired Hands Brewing Company, and it is called Modern Gulpie.
Modern Gulpie. Gulpie, everybody.
Yeah,
like a big gulp, Gulpie. I'm just letting them know because the phone thing.
And my hearing.
Yeah, and if you look, it's confusing because you might hear guppy, and if you look at the label on the can, it actually has a fish on it. But Gulpie is a reference to the fact that this is a sessionable American light lager, And it comes in at 4% ABV. And by sessionable, we mean that you can sit down and have more than a few of these for a longer session of drinking beer if you want to, without it being a big ABV beer.
Let me ask something, because people will say, oh, I want to try craft beer, but, some of the other beers, like the heavy stuff or the very, hoppy stuff, this sounds like a good one that you can do to start wading into the craft beer type, right? From the regular beer that people are used to, the more commercial products?
Yeah, absolutely. A traditional light lager like a Bud Light or Budweiser's not light, but an American lager like Budweiser, Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light, they are all lagers. And we talk about this all the time on the show, but with Jason we should refresh it. There are two broad categories of beers. There are ales and lagers. It has to do with the yeast and the temperatures that they are fermented at. And lager is fermented at colder temperatures, and so people typically like that because they can be more crisp and clean and more easy drinking, and they are traditionally in the 4 to 5% ABV, although there are stronger. So yeah, this would be a really good gateway beer, and for someone that doesn't maybe like hoppy, or doesn't really like stout or something along that line, this is a great way to get interested in what can be a better beer. It doesn't have to replace your beer, but it can be a better beer. And Jason, we'll call you the resident lager guy here, because I'm not a traditional lager guy.
Right.
Lindo is probably more than me. What do you think of Modern Gulpie?
I told Lindo before last week's beer, like it warmed your chest up like drinking like hard alcohol.
That was very strong.
And it had like a burn. It was very nice, and I loved it. This couldn't be more opposite of that, but it's super easy to drink. Like if you're somebody who, goes out, because I know a lot of people like this. At times I can be like this, where people are drinking, you go, it leaves that weird beer taste in your mouth. If you're not like a beer lover, this is really easy. No aftertaste. I love it. It's very smooth to drink. I don't know if that's a good description, but I'm just telling you easy and smooth to drink.
I mean, for me,
It's good. It's very good.
For me, one of the reasons why we chose this beer is Tired Hands is a brewery that is very well known in the craft scene. They do a ton of IPAs and saisons and blended beers and sours. But for me, when you go ahead and you try a beer like this, all right, that you wouldn't really think Tired Hands is going to make a light lager. But you try this, it shows off the talent of the brewer, because you could hide a brewing flaw in a porter or a stout or an IPA even. But when you're brewing a beer like this, there's not a lot of room for error.
Right.
So when you taste this beer and you see how clean and crisp it is, you know this brewery can make beer. So if you have a brewery that can hit this style, because it's one of the hardest. I mean, you're brewing Coors Light or Miller Lite, and you make any type of mistake, it's going to be
definitely
like
noticeable.
Sirens and horns. It's going to go off when you taste it. But,
Right.
but this beer is really nice, really crisp, and as I said before we went on the air, I call it beer flavored beer.
Right.
It's a regular beer that people that aren't used to this crazy stuff are going to be able to taste it and be like, all right, yeah, that's pretty good.
And it's
In
great.
my mind, before you said that, I was going to ask you, can you describe a beer as clean? As soon as you said it, I said, I've heard that 100 times, but it feels just very clean, and it doesn't, like, I could chug this beer, and I don't think I could ever chug any beer. I wouldn't, but it's so smooth.
Really good
I probably could. He just cracked another one open. He wants to see it happen now, but COVID. I don't want to get too close to you.
All right, go ahead, Bill.
It's a really good example of an American light lager, I think, and we should mention too up front that Ardmore, PA, 2011, started by Jean Brulé the fourth, very specific there, and his wife Julie, and the name is a reference to the working man. His father was a factory worker and hardworking, and that's where the tired hands comes from, that a hardworking man would have tired hands. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that Tired Hands Brewing Company is responsible, and this is good or bad for some people, is responsible for the milkshake IPA style. Many people consider Tired Hands the first place that the milkshake IPA ever came from.
Wow, that's cool.
Really
It's
good.
very
Thank you.
refreshing. I love the can. I love the art on it. I like the fish. It's pretty darn cool. And you do have this, obviously, Lindo, at Sabatini's.
We do have it in stock in 6-pack cans, and as far as Tired Hands beers go, this is their most affordable beer. So it's a lower price beer, and Bill, you cannot see it, but he is chugging it.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm not chugging it, but
office now for the next 6 hours.
You bet I am.
Awesome. All
This is
right.
great. Thank you.
Hey, Bill, have a great day. Thanks for checking in, as always, on our Friday Beer Buzz, and people can get more information at mybeerbuzz.com. Always the latest news there, right?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Have a good weekend.
Our beer today, Tired Hands Brewing Company. It's Modern Gulpie, and yes, you can get it at Sabatini's. And it's all brought to you by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. The area's greatest selection of rare, craft, and imported beers. Growlers and Crowlers and 37 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. The Friday Beer Buzz, bringing good beers and good people together.